fast life meets the fast lane.
Yeah.
You're now tuned into Bars and Hoops Radio. Where the world of hip-hop and sports live.
Dropping the clutch and then I hit the gas. Wheels screeching, tires burning, I'm flying past. Gotta get home quick, don't wanna miss the class. They schooling you on whips and how to make them fast. Talking about everything from cars to planes. What's hot, what's next, and how to flip the game. They talk in my language, we speak the same. That whip talk complex, but yet they keep it plain. From the news, the interviews, they keep it cool. They give reviews, everything from parts to tunes. Can't lose, come to whips, they not no fools. Don't miss the show, the start time is noon. The bearded one, S.I. Sean, they crazy though. You can't miss it, tune in the Rally Radio.
Where the fast life meets the fast lane.
Whoop, 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 whoop. Shout to everybody tuned in, paying attention. You already know what it is. We appreciate you. Let's go. We are in the building early. Appreciate everybody for tuning in. You already know what it is, man. It's the bearded one here, Rally Radio. Last show of the season. Or not the season, rather. Excuse me. Last show of the year of 2024, to be exact. And got a lot of stuff to talk about here, man. Listen, you can see it in the title, 2024 wrap-up. Shout out to my guy, Darth Spalding, in the building early. Let me tell y'all something, man. It's been one crazy year in automotive news and in car culture. And if you hear, you already know that because you can see the wrap-up coming up. You already know what it is. So with that being said, we about to jump right into it, man. First off, shout to everybody who's tuned in, paying attention. Shout to Jessica Grandy. She's in the building early. You already know what it is. Appreciate you greatly. You already know what it is. Listen, I gotta say, before we continue on with the show, 2024 has been a doozy. And I don't mean just for cars. I mean just in general, like without just being automotive. It's just been one hell of a ride out here, man. I'm telling you, from Trump making it back to office to electric vehicles going up and then coming back down again to, you name it, wars, and all kind of other stuff we got going on. Shout to everybody who rocked with us for this 2024. I definitely appreciate you. And shout to everybody who has something great happen to them in 2024, man. It's just been one of those. But we all made it, man. We here. Appreciate everybody that is in the building with me right now. We in here building. You already know what it is. We jumping around for right now, but I will say this, man. Shout to everybody who's rocking with us. And like I said, 2024, the wrap-up, man. Best and worst of car culture this year. Now, we've seen some crazy things happen this year. We've seen the world be bombarded by takeovers. Crazy. And we've all seen the videos on Instagram or TikTok. TikTok don't even be showing that violence like that, but Instagram, definitely. YouTube, you've seen people spinning out, crashing and rolling into each other's legs and all sorts of stuff like that. And you say to yourself, man, like, how could they get any worse? Let's just hope it doesn't get any worse, because to be totally honest with you, it could. And at one point in 2024, it has. We've gotten to the point now where cameras are everywhere. You're getting all kind of different tickets from different places. You're getting speed camera tickets, exhaust camera tickets, red light tickets, parking camera tickets, bus tickets from cameras. And it's like we've seen that now. Now we've jumped into that realm to where this is like starting to become the norm. So where do we go from here? And what makes 2024 the best to wrap it up in car culture, man? It has definitely been one of them. It's been one of them here at Rally Radio. You know, we had so many different things, plans and aspirations and things that we wanted to get done. And even though we got done some of it, we still got so much more we want to get done in 2025. But I think the biggest thing we can say right now is that now that 2024 is coming to an end, suit up, because get ready. 2025 is going to be, to me, even crazier. I don't see how it doesn't top 2024. Because I think that we got a lot of things showing up. And you know what? Like I said, just off the automotive topic for a minute, there's a lot of things that you see going on right now. One, it's looking like, they're talking about, the bird flu has been is mutated in a man in Louisiana, and man, here we go again. Please, we don't need another pandemic. So everybody, wash your hands, man. Everybody, wash your hands, man. Stop, don't be like that. Wash your hands and make sure you wash yourselves, man, because we could be staring down the barrel of another pandemic. Hate to put it out there, don't want it to happen, but these are the kind of things you got to pay attention to. Shout out to my guy Aaron Raw in the building early. You already know what it is. We appreciate you, my dude. So there's a lot of other things that we said have been going on. We've seen the stock market fall and then rise again. We've seen the rise of machines with Tesla over here, not only with cars, but we've also seen them with the humanoid robots and stuff like that. I mean, the list goes on and on as far as the things that we have seen in 2024. Yeah, like I said, it's been one heck of a ride, crazy doozy out here, but other things that have happened that were actually great. You know what I mean? We got a chance to really see a lot of different things happen for a lot of different people, man. A lot of people we've seen make things happen, and we've been happy for them for the most part. But like I said, that's why we're going to call it the 2024 wrap-up, because we're going to talk about all of it today. And I think the craziest thing that we could actually bring up right now, to me, would happily be Dodge. I think Dodge has been the craziest thing for me thus far this year. With them moving on from Tim Kaniskis, if you haven't seen my video on TikTok or Instagram or YouTube, don't forget, subscribe to either Rally Radio. You can find us, Rally Radio, the podcast. Shout to my guy, J.O.J. He said Trump is in office. Of course, it's going to be another pandemic. Oh. Look, y'all know how we feel about that. But I could almost believe it. You know what I mean? Like, it's just, here we go. It's like they starting it up. And you know what? It wouldn't shock me, man. After what we dealt with COVID and trying to make it back from COVID, and then, the prices of cars. We've seen the prices of cars. We've seen us actually start to win over the car dealerships now. We're at a point where they can't charge you anything they want to charge you. Interest rates are still high, though. But got a lot of things, like I said, to be happy for. But one of the main things I'll say I'm happy for right now is that I got people that actually tune in, people that I know that I can run into, I see. And, I just want to say thank you to those, man. We appreciate you here at Rally Radio, here at Bars and Hoops Radio. We appreciate you. But you know how we get down, man. We're going to jump right into the show. With that being said, like I said, shout to everybody who's tuned in, paying attention early. We are already in the building. We are in the building. Appreciate y'all. Don't forget, like, subscribe, share with your people. Let them know what's going on. There's a dude out here talking all this automotive news. We are in the building, and we're going to set it off. So with that being said, we're going to drop another beat on y'all. Here we go. Now, let me stop. I'm acting like I'm about to drop some bars, but you already know what it is, man. Like I said, we appreciate everybody for tuning in and rocking with us, but we got a lot of things we want to talk about here, man. Definitely. Shout to Splash Bros in the building. Don't forget to holler at them for all of your detailing needs. You already know what it is. Splash Brothers back in the building. You already know what it is. Definitely been one of them, man. Like I said, just to give a little recap, we all know last week was definitely an interesting show. We talked about Dodge, how Dodge looked like they want to bring back the Hemi. Definitely going to be interested in that notion. We'll see what they're talking about with that. They did bring back Tim Kaniskis, which made it even more interesting. And like I said, this is another one of those 2024 wrap-up kind of deals. A lot of things going on in automotive culture. And that was really the biggest news that we had last week. That was, to me, something I didn't see coming. I kind of thought about it. I said, you know what? Maybe they would, but I didn't think they would. We also talked about digital license plates getting hacked. This is another moving on into the future thing that they're going to be talking about here. How are we moving on into the future with digital license plates and they can be hacked? We just had a problem with ghost cars and ghost plates and all of that in New York City. And now look at this. Here we go. Now they're talking about, we're going to have hacked digital license plates. That means they can load up any license plate they would like to. That's actually crazy to me, in my opinion. But again, I digress. It's definitely 2024. Also, we talked about how Honda, Nissan, and Mitsubishi have merged to become one of the third largest car companies in the world. Is this the Tesla effect? Is this a Tesla effect? Is this something that, people are doing to feel that they can compete? I don't know. To ask you the straight up and down truth, Tesla is like, first of all, they're not making cars. I know everybody hear me say that. I got to say it one more time. They're not making cars. They're definitely making washing machines with wheels, but we won't get into it. But in the same breath, you got to start to ask yourself, right? What is going on that Nissan was actually falling off in the first place? Was it bad leadership? We talked about that too this year. Bad leadership actually knocked them down. Look at Carlos Tavares that actually got kicked out of Dodge. Bad leadership. Couldn't wait to get rid of the Hemi V8. We found out that he was the main culprit behind it. So this is what it is, man. It's going down. Shout out to my guy, Tiny. Appreciate you, my guy. You already know what it is. So with that being said, we had a lot that we want to talk about. Honda's bringing back the Prelude. It's official, too. A little bit of Type R goodies on it. Nothing too crazy, though. And it will be hybrid and auto for all of those performance gurus that wanted to see one manual. Ain't happening. Got to make your choice right there. What do you really want? It is what it is. I would have loved to see a manual Prelude. And who knows? Maybe they'll come up with one later. That's how they do. They're going to introduce the car back to have it sell, and then they're going to create a performance edition for us performance people. You already know what it is, man. We appreciate everybody for tuning in early. You already know what it is. So, also, Trump relaxing the data collection for self-driving cars. He's going to ease a lot of this stuff back so that we can have more self-driving cars out here. I don't agree with that. I don't know why he wants to do it, but I do understand that it's business because Mr. Elon Musk, a.k.a. Cobra Commander, is in the office with him. Shout to my guy, Jay. Shout to Mr. 2J. He's in the building early. You already know what it is. 2024 wrap-up. We in the building. Appreciate everybody. Let's go. So you got to say to yourself now, there's also been a secret company or a secret alliance out there trying to stop you from importing and driving any car that you want. So let's get into that a little bit before we move on. We already know that if a car's over 25 years old, you could import it into the United States, for those that don't know. So anytime we cross over to 25 years behind, a car could come over here and it's not looked at for the emissions. All it has to do is be able to pass a safety inspection. So a lot of the companies now there's a company out there that's trying to stop you from being able to do that. Case in point, a lot of people like to import the Nissan GTR, right? They're starting with the key cars, but they really want to stop you from bringing those cars over here altogether. Now, GTRs now go from upwards of 100,000 to even more probably once they get here. And I find that crazy that even though it is a law that you can import any car you want after 25 years of its make, that they still want to stop it, they got something else going on out there. It's definitely getting crazy. Also, last week we talked about losing the VR6. Shout out to my guy, Raheem Owens. You already know what it is. Appreciate y'all. You already lost that, so you already know what it is with that. The VR6, for those that don't know, was one of the most highly sought after engines in the Volkswagen community. I don't care what nobody say. I know it came in one of my most favorite cars ever, and that would be the Volkswagen Corrado. I love that car. If I could have had the money, I would have definitely got one. But if I had the bread then, but I didn't. It is what it is. But it is definitely a beautiful car. So a lot of things we talked about. And shout to Jessica Grandy. She said Cobra Commander is in his ear. That's a fact. That to me is going to be the biggest change thus far. Is that Elon Musk is part of this tour or part of this guy's cabinet. So I don't know, you know what I mean? Like what's going to happen here? I don't know what's going to happen here. We're going to have the Teslas out here. I don't know. Definitely interesting, though. We're going to find out, man. Shout out to everybody who's tuned in, paying attention. You know how we get down, man. There's been a lot of news going on out here. And before we get into our little 2024 wrap-up, there's a lot of different things we got going on that we're going to talk about because if you've been under a rock, a lot of these things you don't know. And this is actually interesting. So with that being said, we're going to jump right in. Let's get right to it, y'all.
Weekly specs. Auto news for all the listeners, only on Rally Radio.
All right, you already know what it is, man. We in the building. Shout out to everybody tuned in, paying attention. Got a little bit of news for you. Look like Stellantis the whole time, even though they were trying to act like they was Mr. Clean and all that. It looks like Stellantis got to pay the government $4.2 million for diesel emissions defeat devices on work vans. I know this sounds crazy. Why are we talking about work vans? Well, it looks like Stellantis, who is Chrysler, Dodge, Jeep, who also got rid of their V8 because they was like, oh, you know, you want to be green. Looked like they was installing diesel emissions defeat devices on their work vans for a long time, and the government came across it, and they fined them $4.2 million. This was done under your man, Carlos Tavares. To me, this is actually crazy. Shout to my guy, Smitty.
Driver's etiquette.
He's in the building. I apologize for that. Shout to my guy, Smitty. He's in the building. Got him. Shout to my guy, Draco. He's in the building, too. You already know what it is. Look like they already had a little bit of an issue. So just to get down to it, it looks like the Stellantis agreed to the settlement after an unapproved device was found on the 2014 and 2016 ProMaster 1500, 2500, and 2500 vans with the 3-liter diesel engine. The device was allegedly installed to turn off emissions control systems during normal driving in the wild, turning them back on during emissions testing. This resulted in an estimated 55 tons of extra nitrogen oxides pumped to the air. Yeah. At the end of the day, they got caught being dirty. That's crazy that they actually, and this is nothing new. Volkswagen did it when it came down to their diesel emissions. But to actually have a device from the factory shut off all of the emissions and then turn it back on when it's being tested is diabolical. That is crazy. But they doing it. Yo, killing me with this. You got to find that crazy. But it looks like they into a lot of different things. I'm telling you, when you start digging into these car companies, you start to see for yourself. But we also got a couple other things, man. It looks like the internet came together to recover a guy stolen R32 GTR. Now, like I told you, the GTR was not made here. After 25 years, you was able to import them, and that meant for the R32, 33, and now 34 that you're going to probably see on the streets. The R32 is probably one of the more business ones. The 34 is probably the most sought after, and the 33 is probably the stepchild. But if I'm wrong, don't forget, you can call me out in the comments. You already know what it is. But with that being said, it looks like Bristol appeared on another ADHD podcast to recount the story of how his classic JDM car was stolen in the middle of the night right out of his house. The thieves are not subtle, smashing through his garage door with a second-gen Subaru Impreza and then allegedly stole the Skyline. That's crazy. They drove a Subaru through his garage door, and then they smashed and stole his GTR. Well, it looks like he put it out on the internet that his GTR was stolen, and he actually got the car back. People was actually pouring and saying, I just saw the GTR driving up the block. I just saw it over here. I saw it over there. At one point, he said he saw his own car. He tried to make a U-turn. He tried to follow him, but traffic was terrible and he lost it. So he had been chasing his car down for a long time. And after that, he actually got the car back. Shout to the car community once again for making it happen. Love to hear it. Love to hear it. Love to hear it. The fact that somebody's car gets stolen and they get it back, I got to say, I'm impressed by that. I'm impressed by that. But in either way, stop stealing, man. Come on. What are we doing here? Come on. You can't afford the car. What you going to do with it? You going to steal with it? You going to steal it and then you can't drive it? Obviously, you're going to hustle it off. Or you got people that's going to hustle them off anyway. But with that being said, we also there's a couple other things we wanted to talk about too that I was just like in awe of. So, has anybody noticed that you have not heard anything about this Tesla that crashed in Pelham Manor up there that went 120 miles an hour to the wall? Has anybody noticed that you have not heard nothing? They haven't even released these people's names still. Why do you think that is? I'm going to tell you why. Because they know. Shout to my guy, Sha. Sha's in the building. Said the moon got ears and escaping the eyes of the bus. Let's go. This is exactly what I'm talking about. There's something fishy going on there. If this was human error, we would know. If this was a medical episode, we would know. Something's not right there, and they're not saying anything about it. I wanted to talk about this last week, but we really didn't get a chance to. But I will say something's wrong. That Tesla went into that wall at 120 miles an hour. And we have heard nothing as to why it happened. We don't know nothing about it. And nobody's questioning it, just like the drones. Now, all of a sudden, nobody's asking about the drones no more. What happened to that? It's out here. It's going down out here. This is what I'm saying. We got to hold our news people accountable. They got to definitely, all the news outlets, that's why I'm glad you tune in to Rally Radio, because we try to get the truth over here. But that is a big deal. And the reason I say it's a big deal, because in 2025, we're going to see a lot more easing of the laws for self-driving cars. And we got to make sure that they're safe. And there's a lot of reasons why the Tesla especially is not safe. So other cars use LiDAR and radar. We talked about that. But LiDAR and radar is very expensive. Tesla doesn't use either system. They only use cameras. So because they only use cameras, this is how they're able to make a cheaper car and sell you a cheaper car, but it doesn't have the regulations that a lot of other cars have. It doesn't have the safety that a lot of cars have. The LiDAR is what a lot of these self-driving or cab companies like Waymo uses in order for their cabs to drive in the middle of the street and do what they do. Now, obviously, the cameras work as well, because a lot of these cars have 16 and 17 cameras on the car. But what happens when the camera runs across something it doesn't understand? The LiDAR and the radar lets it know that it's a blockade, and it can't do anything about it. It has to stop. But now if the camera can't recognize it, what happens? The car just keeps going. And we've seen that with Tesla. If you get a chance, there's a Wall Street Journal video on YouTube where a hacker actually got into some of the camera footage of some of these crashed Teslas, and he played it for them. And when you see what the car sees, you understand why it has to have LiDAR and radar, because if it doesn't, it won't pick it up. There was one in particular, there was a crashed truck overturned on the highway. The person was driving home in full self-driving, didn't have their hands on the steering wheel, whatever. As you can see, the camera is looking at it. The camera's looking at the road, and it's looking at this truck. But in all honesty, from a camera angle, it only looked like it's like darkness. It can't tell that it's something laid on the road. And you know what happened? Boom! This Tesla crashed right into the thing, and the person died. Now, if they ease these regulations back, this could happen a lot more than you think. This could happen a lot more than you think. A lot of people forget that last year, Tesla had to have their cars recalled for full self-driving, and it was illegal to use. And at that point, that's when Cobra Commander started working his magic to Mr. Trump over here. Listen, I'll help you out. I'll give you your Twitter page back, because I just bought Twitter, renamed it X. I'll give you your pages back. You can say what you want. I'll help you. I even put all of this money in there in your campaign to make sure you get in. It's very interesting that, not saying that he was the reason why President-elect Trump is going to take office in January. Not saying he's the reason, but he did everything he could in his power to make sure that this is what's happening. And at the end of the day, now that he's on the cabinet for this incoming government that we're going to have, watch a lot of these laws be relaxed. That is crazy. That is Cobra Commander. Shout out to my guy, Mike. Said I saw it coming. I'm telling you, Smitty, he's wilding out here. And I just want to make sure that all of our listeners see it coming, because it's happening. It's happening. He's been trying to make this play for a little while now, and now it looks like it's working. But now the question is, whose safety is at risk? The people who drive. I mean, and we talk about this all the time. Teslas weigh how much? 5,500 pounds? 60, maybe about 5,800 pounds? Imagine putting that up against a Honda Civic. head-on collision. It's over. If this thing doesn't recognize a car, if it doesn't recognize a stoplight and it goes through something and hits another car, it will quite possibly go through it. And I think we got to start paying attention to a lot of this stuff, man. Shout out to everybody who's tuned in, paying attention. We appreciate y'all early, not to bash on everything, but like I said, it's a 2024 wrap-up. And when we think about how many accidents and incidents we've seen with Teslas and electric cars, we could go all the way back to the beginning of the year, almost in the summer, where we had all of these different weather things happening. You know what I mean? Watching how a lot of these electric cars have been blowing up on the highway, or the batteries are unstable and this, that, the third. I mean, we've seen it all because it was being pushed from the left side, too. It was being pushed from the left side of the government. Shout out to my guy, Smitty. He said, watch how many Tesla trucks come online. There we go. It's been being pushed from a lot of different places. So now, what makes it different from when they was trying to push it versus now? I don't know. The fact that you have an option? I guess that'd be it. I guess that would be it, the fact that you have an option. But we got to be careful here. You know, everybody that I've ran into, you talk bad about Teslas and you know, why do you talk so? I'm like, because they're not ready for prime time. And they're using us as guinea pigs. And I think that's the bigger thing, the bigger picture that a lot of people are not. They're using us as guinea pigs. They're like, listen, we'll give you the car and let you drive it if something happens, or we'll learn from it. Got to worry about that. I don't know. But with that being said, so much more we wanted to talk about here before we get into everything else that we like to get into. But it looks like Dodge is changing course. That's what I like. We talked about this. Dodge is changing course. It looks like they're going to extend the Hemi V8 production into 2025 due to market demand. Shout to my guy, Tim Kaniskis, a.k.a. the CEO of Dodge. He's putting it out there. He said, listen, the V8 going to be in there until 2025. It is what it is. They don't plan to end Hemi production on December 31st like they planned before. The two variants of the Hemi V8 will live on the power of the Dodge Durango, which is also getting a stay of execution. We already know what that is when you're on death row, but they don't put you down just yet. Yep. The first is the naturally aspirated 5.7 liter, which produces 360 horsepower, 390 foot-pounds of torque. The second is the supercharged 6.2, inaugurated by the Challenger Hellcat and rated at a mighty 710 horsepower and 645 foot-pounds of torque. Dodge hasn't revealed when it will stop building either engine, citing into the 2025 calendar year as a timeline. This is where it gets interesting. Because it looks like when we go into 2025, we're going to have a choice. And it looks like the Hellcat engine will still be around. I think I'm going to give it that. I will say this much, though. Shout out to my guy, Seneca is in the building early. You already know what it is, my guy. Let's go. Looks like the V8 is going to be, with Dodge, is going to be around for a little while. Citing market. They said citing market demand. What does that tell you? That a lot of people were still not ready to move on to electric cars and move on to all kind of different sources of energy and stuff. No. And then there was a big debate about right to repair. For those that don't know what right to repair is, we're going to get into it a little bit. Shout out to my guy, Seneca. He said, you see that swap kit for the Hellcat to G30? I did not. That sounds crazy. G35 coupe, though? Not the, well, even if you put in the four doors, mean. I have not seen the swap kit, but I will look it up. That sounds crazy. That sounds like something that's going to force a lot of Dodge Durangos and cars or Hellcat engines to get stolen. Once you can swap them, forget it. But there's a thing right now called right to repair. Right to repair pretty much is that you have the right to fix your car and repair it whenever you want to, right? It looks like a lot of the car companies were trying to take away your right to repair and say that it's security and piracy if you go into your car or if you do anything with the computer or anything like that. So it looks like they actually struck that down, that they're going to have to start giving away some of this information that they didn't want to give. Ford Mustang being The real one. Ford did not want nobody cracking into their ECUs and doing work. Shout to everybody who's tuned in, paying attention. Don't forget, drop a like, drop a comment so I can shout you out. We appreciate everybody that's tuned in. Thank you for tuning in. Now, like I said, right to repair pretty much is, if you want to fix your car, you want to change your alternator or something like that, you should be able to do it without no problem. The car companies didn't want you doing it at all. They said, it's a piracy thing. If they could get into that, they could probably steal some of our secrets. And here we go. Government shut that down. So it looks like now they're going to come back to that. But it just goes to show how deep the rabbit hole goes sometimes, They really are willing to do whatever they got to do to make sure that they protect themselves. So just to see Dodge bringing out the Hemi V8, and on top of that, they have direct connection where they allow you to buy all kind of tuning parts for this. So it's going to be interesting. And will it only be in the Jeep? Will it only be in the Dodge Durango? I don't think so. I think that at the end of the day, what's going to happen is they definitely going to put this in the car. But what? Shout to Seneca. He said Tesla 2 was getting hit with the right to repair. Right. Tesla 2. But at the end of the day, it's like they don't want you digging into these cars. Shout to my guy Zoom for Zoom in the building early. You already know what it is. Don't forget, drop a like, drop a comment so you can shout you out. It's my guy right there. We got a lot of things we're going to be discussing here today, which is the 2024 wrap-up. Tesla was getting hit with the right to repair as well. I don't know how many people could repair a Tesla. I don't know. The batteries are down there. Who knows where the motors are? I don't know. But just the fact that they wasn't allowing people to do what they want to do to their cars, and they was trying to turn it into like a criminal charge almost. If you open up this engine bay or this computer and you do something, they like, no, we want to be able to put people behind bars for that, which is crazy to me. But it's nothing new. I've seen it when I saw it the other night, and I was like, wow, they really are moving to make sure that you cannot touch your car. That was definitely the plan at first. And also, before we move on, it looks like the electric. Now, we all know that Porsche is one of my favorites. It's one of my favorites. I don't care what nobody say. It's one of my favorites. I love them. I don't care what you say. But it looks like Porsche is actually, they got rid of their 718, Boxster and Cayman, and they was going to turn them electric. And now, because of the way that the things are going, it looks like these cars are stuck in development hell. Doesn't look like they're going to be coming out no time soon. Porsche's having a hard time translating the 718 Boxster and Cayman form into an electric platform. It looks like the biggest problems that they having is actually making it good. It's like on top of the batteries and everything being at the bottom of the car, the handling is going to be crazy. So why do it? You already got the Porsche. What's that? The Porsche Taycan. Or if you already have that, why are we trying to put all of these cars electric? Leave the electric Porsche. I mean, leave the Porsche 718 Boxster and Cayman non-electric. Leave it. But it looks like Porsche is trying to keep up. They see the sales starting to dwindle down in certain countries like China. Like now, it looks like they're starting to lose a lot of that market share out there. And at the end of the day, that's probably going to happen. China now is supplying 35 to 40% of the electric cars around the world, even though we haven't seen them here because our government is not going for it. So we got to start looking at that too. Very interesting. But it looks like Porsche is trying to get the 718 Boxster and the Cayman out as electric, and it's just having a hard time. It said it's getting sick of redesigning the pack over and over for free. It looks like, like I said, the problem they having is where these battery packs, where these motors is going, and which still would keep the car balanced because we all know Porsche is big on handling. And it's like they saying the 718 replacement would deviate from the typical approach of a high output EV performance in favor of a balanced experience. In other words, won't be making a lot of power, probably because they're going to cut down on battery size, but it's still going to be good, handling good. I don't think so. And I don't think nobody would really want it. It depends. I guess you just really got to see what a lot of people are really talking about. But not me. Definitely won't be coming out my pockets anytime soon. But to me, it's just a very interesting ordeal. It's like now, a lot of these car companies, and we talked about this when we first started Rally Radio, a lot of these car companies they shifted their progress to go, you know what? We got to go electric. And it's hurt the entire industry. From Stellantis not being able to quite possibly do the shift, to V8s being taken away, to certain car companies that have fell because they talking about, oh, you know, we're going to go full electric. Look at Volvo, dead at that. Look at Mini, dead at that. Look at Lotus, dead at that. They not going full electric no more. This is what I'm saying. You got these guys pivoting, and the government still doesn't have anything in place that says what's really going to happen to them. Shout out to my guy, Shah. He said the right to repair thing was shut down early from the Apple folks, so don't know why anyone would try it. This is what I'm saying. Apple definitely, when it comes to privacy and stuff, they definitely are big on it, but it looks like they got to start giving them some of that information. So you got to start to wonder, you know, like I said, what's next? You got a lot of car companies that didn't shift. Shout to Toyota, a.k.a. the best. Shout to Toyota because they did not shift. They said, listen, we're going to make one EV, two EVs, some performance cars, some SUVs, some pickups, some trucks, and we just going to sell them all. You know what? To me, Toyota has came out on top of this thing the whole time around. That is another part of the 2024 wrap-up we wanted to talk about. Toyota still got some gifts in the bag. That LFA that they coming out with, I am so interested in seeing what this car is going to be. Now, for those that don't know, it looks like Toyota is coming out with a GT. I don't even know what this is going to be, a GT3 LFA coupe. And I think it's going to have a V8 in it. I'm not sure. Nobody knows the power plant, but it will not be electric. And that is going to be very interesting to say the same thing. Shout out to my guy, Shah. Said, I swear there's a guy that was saying hybrid was the way for the longest time. Oh, shout to Shah. We got to give him his props, y'all. Shah definitely was saying it. But right now, and that, to me, that's one of the reasons why a lot of these car companies are falling, because they went from crawling to running. They skipped walking, which was hybrid. They got to understand the technology before they could produce it. And not for nothing, like I said, they don't hold Tesla to the same standard that they hold everybody else to. Like you can tell. When you look at the quality of the build of the car, they're not quality built. And not for nothing, if they're in one accident, you got to kind of wash the car away. You got to write it off. So now you're taking a loss because you're paying. What are you paying for exactly? Now you find out that it doesn't have all of the things that it needs to have in order for the car to work properly. I just don't understand. Shout out to my guy, Mike. He said, Toyota and Nissan companies are merging. I wonder what the name will be. Well, it's not Toyota and Nissan. It's actually Honda, Nissan, and Mitsubishi. And I believe they're going to do what a lot of these car companies, like Stellantis was an auto group. I believe Honda will still be who they are. Nissan will be who they are, and so will Mitsubishi. Shout out to everybody who's tuned in, paying attention. I just think that they're going to be an automotive group. They're going to have a lot of car companies under one group, and that's mainly for business to protect themselves. But I think that's really what's going to happen. Shout out to my guy, Smitty. And shout out to my guy, Mr. 2J. You already know what it is. He said Toyota's also releasing a new 2-liter that's going to be as solid as the 3-cylinder that was in the GR Corolla. Also, they have been testing the 6-speed RCF. Now, that is where I said I was more interested in, because first off, the RCF, and for those that don't know, that's the Lexus. I think the only thing plaguing that car is that it never came manual. Don't get me wrong, it's a beastie V8. What, about 400, 500 horsepower? 500 horsepower, if I'm not mistaken. They need a manual for that. And not for nothing, Toyota has the platforms and the time to do it. So it's very interesting. Shout to everybody who's tuned in, paying attention. Appreciate everybody. Don't forget, drop a like, drop a comment so we can shout you out. You already know what it is. I will say this, though. With Toyota has a lot going on for the next year. And like I said, this is for the 2024 wrap-up. They were the only ones that fought the status quo. Everybody else started to pivot. Everybody else started to change their brand. And, we don't do this, we don't do that. We even going to talk about Jaguar. Jaguar really, I don't know what they was thinking. And now it look like they in turmoil. They talking about, we're going to sell cars to different people. But when do they realize that the people it's brand loyalty that brings people back to these automakers? Ask anybody who owns a Toyota why they go back and buy a Toyota all the time. Ask them. And what they're going to tell you. You know what they're going to tell you? They're going to tell you The reason that they come back and that they buy these Toyotas is because they've had a Toyota in the past and it worked for them. So you gotta take that into consideration. Shout out to my guy, Anthony Green. He's in the building. You already know what it is. Appreciate you, my dude. 2024 wrap up. You already know how we get down. Appreciate it. Let's go. So you got to start thinking about that. People don't just, if you're Jaguar, and this is what you do, you need to reinvent probably what you do, but not the whole brand. Because now you're starting from scratch. And I mean, like I said before, I couldn't tell if they were selling me Maybelline or I don't know. It looked crazy. It looked like you walked into like a Forever 21 and they was like, here, we got a car in here and it's pink. You know what I'm saying? I just don't get it. You know what I mean? But that's where they wanted to go. I mean, it's not something I'd be into, but you know what it is, man. I just don't get it. But I feel that they're doing what they got to do. They feel to survive, but not that. Anything but that. I just don't know why they went that far with it, but they have. So it's just gonna be interesting to say the least what happens at that point. But shout out to everybody who's tuned in, paying attention. Like I said, when it comes down to 2024, we see so many different things happen with so many different car companies, so many different countries, so many, and especially when it comes to automotive. But the one thing we didn't talk about was these takeovers. Let me give y'all a minute because the takeovers is wild. And I know, like I said, I know y'all seen the videos, people crashing and burning and cars catching on fire and they all up and down all over the roof. And you got to say to yourself, like, nobody don't know no better. Like, come on. I mean, don't get me wrong. I get a kick out of some of the videos too. I do be laughing, but it's like, yo, they are destroyed. Let me tell you something. And that's really what I really hate about it, the takeovers. Outside of the fact that it gives the automotive community a horrible name, that anybody that has these kind of cars are taking part in this kind of thing. My real problem with it is if you look at these videos, they are taking cars that we soon will not be able to get our hands on, and they are destroying them at an alarming rate. Let's talk about, for instance, a lot of them you see a G35. Yeah, everybody, G35, a dime a dozen. For now, there's going to come a point where you ain't going to be able to find one. You know why? Because they mashed them all up and caught them on fire. It's definitely crazy out there. Shout out to my guy, Anthony Green, said when it comes to cars, how many buy what they want or buy what they can afford? There is a difference. Exactly. There is a difference. Can we get the Mario coin for that? Because that is our... There we go, man. That's our point. People buy what they could afford. And if they could afford the brand, they're going to rock with that brand. So you got to make sure you keep your people. Shout out to Senegal. He says, so that Honda, Mitsubishi, Nissan going to give us something like a Stealth 3000 GT? So here's my thing. All right. To get into my crystal ball. You know what I'm saying? Pause. You know what I'm talking about, though. But I will say this, right? I feel like this merger is going to be better than we think. See, remember, like, one thing about Japan and one thing about Japan automotive companies, and this is why you haven't seen a lot of them really jump into the electrification like that, maybe one or two cars. You haven't really seen them jump all the way. And you know why? Because Japan's car culture is woven into their tradition and their history. They have cartoons that drift race. I mean, think about this. They have... You look all over Japan, all you see still is speed shops and car. Like, that's letting you know that they are not just going to take this laying down. Pause. So what are they going to do? The Honda, and I said that earlier, a lot of people thought I was bugging. I said, who saves Nissan? And I said, Honda would do it. And everybody's like, oh, no way, huh? Now look at it. Mitsubishi had to get in because Nissan and Mitsubishi are the two that was falling off the most. Honda is the most known. But I will say, who knows what we're going to get? I think that they realize what's at stake here. One, if Japan loses their stronghold on the performance side of it, because they are strong in it, what happens next? Who takes over? And now that China is producing so many more, oh, we got a caller. Rally Radio, who we got in the box?
Yo, it's your boy Big J in the building.
Shout to Jay. What's going on, Jay? What it is?
What is going on, guys? Should I call in, make check in on y'all, see how everyone's doing. Hope everyone enjoyed their Christmas and their soon to be New Year's.
Well, I will say this. The 2024 wrap-up is upon us. My holiday was great. New Year's is going to be even greater. The new year is going to be greater with a lot of the things that we're going to have going on here. Don't forget, January 20th, for those that don't know, January 20th will be our we be going back to the track, very first go-karting event that we're going to have. If you're not a member of the group, join the group. Gutter Ball Rally the community. We'll talk about it more. I will also talk about it here on the show, and we will create the event on Facebook for people to show up. We definitely right now, we're going to have at least 4 of those a year. And we also going to have the Gutter Ball Rally bowling. We starting that off too, so don't get it twisted. But Jay, continue on. What's your thoughts on 2024? I want you to we gonna put you on the speed test. You ready for this?
Shifting gears.
Speed test, let's do this.
We ask, you answer.
The faster, the better.
Gear up, only on Rally Radio.
All right, we have brought you in. You are going to do our shifting gears. You already know what it is. So, with that being said, what are you looking forward to in 2025?
2025, brand new drop between Honda with that new Prelude, Toyota with that Celica.
Yes.
Which is, I can't wait for neither one of those two. I'm sorry, I'm wildly excited about those two cars.
Yes.
God, what else was there? I'm sorry, what happened?
What's one thing you want to leave in 2024?
Oh God! Listen, look, man, your show's only like an hour long. Okay, I'll make it real quick. If I can say the top three.
Sorry.
Look. If I can say top 3 things that we can leave behind in 2024, right? All right, cool. Start from the bottom. Number 3, please, can we leave behind this weird marketing of what brands are doing to these legacy titles? Jaguar, I'm looking at y'all.
Looking at Jaguar with the eye, like
I think you know what? I'm even going to throw in Ford. Ford's Ferrari is showing.
Wow.
Think about it. Like, what you call it? If people who don't know, what's it called? The YouTuber TJ Hunt is getting sued by Ford.
Yeah,
for a body kit.
But he's wilding though. I can't front. I'm not saying that Ford is right on this one, but the GTD barely hit the streets and he trying to have a kid on it. Now, what if he turn around and sell that kid?
I mean,
he's wilding.
Okay, hear me out.
That's business.
I'm not about to spend $300K on a Mustang. Look, I like a Mustang, but not $300K.
But this thing just set a record at Nürburgring. I don't think that GTD is for us anyway, though. I think that's like race teams only. You got to have some brand.
You know what? For that kind of money, you could just buy a GT40. Maybe not the new one,
right?
But you can get the old one,
right?
Like the 05. Right. Those are still, you can still kind of get those in that same price range,
right?
Give or take. But I can't. I mean, look, I'm glad it set the record. Cool, but man, I'm sorry. This Ford's been getting a little bit like Ferrari lately.
Okay.
All right, cool. Number 2. Yes. If we can leave this in the past, please. Okay. And I hate to get to this point. Politicians, please stop trying to be automotive makers. Y'all can't. Y'all don't know what y'all are doing.
We're gonna give you
I'm just saying.
Give you a clap on that one. Tell the politicians stay out the garage.
Hey, look, do what y'all do best on your side of the things. I mean, look, you don't see top chefs being like, hey, let's go ahead and make a car. No.
Facts.
Yeah, you leave that to the experts. But what's close? Finally, you just said street takeovers, please.
Get rid
Look, I don't. It's like I can only see for so many zip codes getting wiped out.
Yo, and not for nothing, we're gonna elaborate a little bit more on the street takeovers because that's one of my main things you want to see left back in 2024. Shout out to everybody who tuned in paying attention. Shout out to my guy Dan Green. I see you out there, my guy. Roberto Bell, Ryan Williams. Shout out to my guy Chris, Mike, Raheem, we appreciate everybody who my dude Mo. Shout out to my guy Mo for tuning in. We appreciate everybody right here. So here's my thing with the takeovers, Jay. Like I was saying, it's not like bad enough they out here causing carnage and bodily harm, but they're also using cars that we gonna want, and they're burning them to a crisp and destroying them.
You know what? Funny enough, and it's funny you brought that up because I thought about this, right? I feel like because of street takeovers, they're kind of systematically wiping out the Infinity G. I mean, how wild is that? Like, okay, good example. When was the last time you ever seen a clean first generation G coupe?
I tell you the truth, it's been so long, I don't even think they really exist anymore. But continue on.
Right. You know, I mean, they're like $1 a piece, but then now it's just like, I'm going to go one step even beyond that. I also feel the same with the Scats. They're going to end up kind of like systematically wiped out.
So it's funny you say that. Shout to my guy Seneca. He said that they have a swap kit. You ready for this? They about to combine both worlds that you just said. They got a swap kit to put the Hellcat engine in a G. Oh, my God. Look out. Hide your kids, hide your wife. It's going to get ugly out there if that happens.
You know, because that's what we need on the highway is an ITBM just blowing the doors off of everyone. You know what? I'm also going to throw this into the mix, too, with takeovers, swim teams. I'm so tired of that.
See,
yo, that is so corny.
That is corny. Check this out. Shout to Draco. Shout to my guy Draco in the building. He said, don't bite my style. Plain and simple. I got decades of R&D and a YouTuber going to get the cake. And this is what I'm talking about. That's business. Talking about TJ Hunt.
I mean, admittedly true, but then I mean, why? You know, it opens up the floodgates if you think about it, right? Because then, yeah, you put an R&D on the body kit, but then I mean, look at a lot of these other kits that are out here too. You know what I mean?
I tell you what. I tell you what. You remember everybody knows Eleanor, right? Everybody knows Gone in 60 Seconds, right? For those that don't know, that was the movie with Nicolas Cage where they stole 50 cars in one night. And the last car that he went to go steal was the Ford Mustang. Well, let me not say Ford Mustang. That was actually a Shelby GT 500 fastback that they named Eleanor in the movie, right? Now, that car for that movie was created by, I forget the guy's name. He passed away. And when he passed away, his wife put a patent on the design that nobody could design a car that looks like that. If they did, she would sue them. And it was going on for years. And they recently overturned it that now people could recreate Eleanor if they want without being hit with any kind of lawsuit for redoing that car. So there has been other cases. Huh?
I was gonna say, it's funny how they put that lawsuit out for that, but then look at these other movie cars. I mean, how many like DeLoreans are out here?
No, but you got to kind of have a DeLorean to make that happen, though. And right. I think that's the bigger problem.
You know, the same goes with like the Shelby. I mean, first off, you got a Shelby, you're doing amazing in life, but still, I digress.
So, with that being said, now we talked about what we're looking forward to in 2025. We talked about what we want to leave behind in 2024. What was the most favorite thing that you've seen in 2024? What was the most favorite thing that you saw?
Personally, okay, so I'm going off of my own personal experience on this, and that would be being able to see the Irwindale Speedway before it closed.
Oh, I like that.
Because you know, for those who don't know, I used to live in Cali for like about 2 years, and within those 2 years, I've driven on tracks, I've driven on mountain roads. You know, I mean, I listen. Look, we can make fun of Cali all day, and I get it, but they do have some of the best roads.
So, definitely one of the greater things that happened in 2024. But now we're gonna get to the most important part here. You ready for this?
Yeah, go for it.
What's the most scariest thing you think is going to happen in 2025 in the automotive and car community, car culture? What do you think is going to happen?
Car culture wise, I feel like what they're going to do is they're going to adopt what's happening in New York, which is this heavy Big Brother sort of surveillance over people's like privacy. So
Okay.
like you got the speed cameras, you got the exhaust cameras,
Mm-hmm.
you got cameras, and I feel like other cities are going to be like, hey, we can just squeeze. We don't even need to actually, have ticket revenue. We can just do it on our own. And
Yes.
you see these companies, like you were saying, but like last week or so, AI companies allegedly have been mistakenly giving wrong tickets to people, and it's
Oh,
been
crazy.
generating money.
And not only that, it's happening everywhere. We talked about the lady with the digital license plate, not digital license plate. She
Right,
had a license plate where around the United States, people was stealing that license plate, getting wild tickets. Said she was getting $1,000, $15,000 a month billed. Then we got to talk
right.
about like you said, the bus cameras giving people tickets, and I think that's like you said, that's the thing I don't look forward to is adding more AI into the automotive world. That's actually a good one, Jay. That's
Yeah,
actually a good one.
appreciate it.
Shout to
I
Jay.
will say though, one thing I do wonder. Hold on. One thing I do wonder now is I don't know who does this, but see, I go to Seventh Day every July on the
Yes.
seventh. Cool.
Yes.
What's going to happen on Seventh Day now? Because that seems like that's an expensive drive. You know what I mean?
Not only is it expensive drive, shout to Marlon, the resident Toyota guy. He's in the building. He's here. He said, "How about a speed and greet trip to Hawks Nest?" We got a couple. Oh, don't give them up. Don't tell them the secrets. But I will say
Oh
this,
yeah.
right, Jay? Um, Seventh Day is going to get expensive. One, if they go to the city. That's one. Two, you never know where these exhaust cameras are. And see, those things have been lurking around. People act like they're not here anymore. They are.
Oh no. Oh no, man. They're just not. They're just not in neighborhoods that you frequent.
Or better yet, not even no, they are. It's just that they still trying to get enough funding to get them going because they're
Right.
very expensive.
Right.
That's
And
what
it
they
goes
do.
into what I was saying before. It's like you're invading people's privacies essentially by, for just generating revenue.
Yes. Yes. So that's
You
what I
know?
said. That was actually a great answer because that's a lot. That's something I don't want to see in 2025. I dread that we will see. But the mere fact that a lot of these states and cities now are going to look at New York, look at California, and say, "Hey, they making money doing this." That's actually a
Right.
fear. That's actually a
Right.
fear. I will say that. Yo, shout to Jay. So with that being said, Jay, he said you only got he said your show is not that long anymore because we got a whole bunch. Yo, Jay, any shout outs you want to give?
I just want to give a shout out to the Rally Radio family. Just wanted
Yes.
to say, hey, listen, thank y'all all for listening in. Let's make this community great. What you call it? Make America Gap again.
Make America
Still need,
gap again.
still need to
Make
make that as a shirt. Just gotta make that as a shirt. Just
oh,
saying. Hey,
you know what?
yo.
And you get all the credit. We're gonna make sure we put Jay's name on there because that's actually a good one. Make America gap again or make America gas again.
Ooh, there you go.
With that being said,
There you
Jay, we appreciate you for tuning in and calling in as always, my dude. Thank you.
Of course, of course.
And like I
Other than
said,
that, yo,
mhm.
y'all have a happy new year. Please.
Oh, and stay in the house, y'all. I don't care what nobody says. Let's make sure we get there. Let's stay in the house till New Year's Day. I'm sorry. It is what it is.
Yeah.
Yo, Jay, we
Please.
appreciate you as usual, my dude. Thank you for calling in, man. Appreciate you.
Of course.
All right, happy holidays to you. And like I said, happy New Year, man. Be careful, okay?
You too, man.
All right, peace.
Uh,
Shout out to my guy, Jay. That was a great answer. And you know what? Now that he said that, like, you can't unhear it, right? One of the things we're not looking forward to here is exactly what he said is just more AI, more cameras. And is this going to happen? You know, something to think about here. Shout out to everybody who's tuned in, paying attention. We appreciate everybody early for tuning in. You already know what it is. We talked about a lot of different things. The last thing I want to talk about, we're going to move right on. It looks like custom agents seize 1.4 million in counterfeit vehicle inspection stickers. I'm going to give y'all a minute for that because right now, we already know a lot of cars, especially if you race your car, it's a good chance, you're having a check engine light, nothing you can do about it at the moment. You need an inspection sticker. You got a lot of people who sell inspection stickers on the black market. It is what it is. Looks like the custom agent sees 1.4 million of them, and it looked like they was about to be shipped around the world. $1.4 million worth, excuse me. So I think the sticker, it was 22,000 counterfeit Pennsylvania vehicle inspection stickers, and it looks like that right there is a super felony. I don't know, you name it. They look how the government names it. They said unscrupulous actors peddling fraudulent vehicle inspection stickers create a very serious public safety concern. Fake inspection stickers mask unsafe motor vehicles that place all motorists on our roadways in harm. Customs and Border Protection officers will continue to seize illicit and illegal products that can be harmful. Here we go. We got another call. Rally Radio, who we got in the box?
What up, what up, what up? You know what it is? You know who it is?
Ah, that's my guy, Draco. What's going on, Draco? What it is?
Chilling. Just here taking advantage of the warm weather. You know where I'm at.
Yo, I would like to believe you're in Atlanta then.
Nah. First of all, Atlanta's dead. It's Boston now.
It's Boston.
Stick and move.
I will say this. With that being said, because Draco, you called in, guess what? You ready for this?
What up?
Shifting gears. We ask, you answer. The faster, the better.
Okay.
Gear up. Only on Rally Radio.
All right, we get you with shifting gears, man. We got a couple things we want to ask you. What was your favorite automotive moment in 2024?
Favorite automotive moment in 2024? Personal or like in the car world?
It could be either.
Personal? Getting as far as I got with my whip.
There you go. And what whip is that? Tell everybody so they can hear you.
All right. So what I'm running with now is a 1988 Chrysler Conquest with a 2JZ GTE swap, R154 transmission. Music-wise, 4 10-inch subs, 2 6-inch mid-bass.
Oh, boy.
2 sets of components, 4 amplifiers, a water feature, soon to be neon underneath. I'm old school.
I love it.
And brakes, trying to do the Mustang big brake kit up front and just keeping the stock tires sleeper. And that's about it. So far, I'm about 90% done. Saving up now for wheels and paint.
So with that being said, what's the next what's the thing you want to leave behind in 2024?
Automotive, leave it behind.
Yes.
Basically, all these bought and trying to act like you were under the car wrenching.
Oh boy, elaborate, please. Let's go.
I'm driving, doing the little Yaris thing, right? Mm-hmm. And these dudes is flying by in these late model cars, and I look in the passenger seat, and I look in the driver's seat. Oh, there ain't no way you know how that car works.
Oh,
you just drop it off at the shop, and give them the money, come out on the street thinking you Mario Andretti, and that gets people hurt.
That's what gets people hurt, when you really don't understand how the car works. So you would leave in 2024 the non-mechanic.
There you go.
Ooh, the non-mechanic. That's a strong thing, because a lot of people don't know how a lot of these cars work. Know what I realized? I live around the corner from M Life. You ever heard of the BMW? I live right around the corner from them. And every time I drive through there, I see them working on cars. I see them. They're out there. They have that 8-second BMW outside. They have a host of other Beamers out there. But I will say that you can also see that there's just other people who pull up for the rims and the drop. Yeah. But yet they speed off down there. And you're right. It is disheartening when you see somebody that think they know what goes on.
And they don't know.
Right. It is disheartening. But I will say this. at least they not fronting. If they get out and they try to tell me like they doing hold up, you can't do that.
Yeah, exactly.
But a lot of these cars now, these late model cars, are made that way. Like, think about it. The Hellcat, the Beamer, even you got other newer cars that it's like they just making power for no reason.
No reason. Yeah.
So it's like we can't knock them, but we just know that we are more serious car enthusiasts. We are very.
I put it as if they don't know how it works, they don't respect the power they got. It's like handing somebody a blowtorch.
Okay.
And they don't know how to. They just know the general instructions, and then when they burn down the house, you're like, "Oh, what happened? Dude, you didn't know X, Y, Z meant that this would happen."
Yes.
Yes, sir.
So I understand that. I get that. I just feel like, you know what? When it comes down to a lot of these cars now, they make it so easy.
Right.
It's like you can't even be mad at them for like not wanting to participate or understand. And then furthermore, even to get some of this stuff done, it's not even mechanical anymore. It's the tune.
It's electronics, right? Too.
It's the tune.
I saw on YouTube where this dude was saying, "Yo, you ain't saying nothing with a Hellcat. It's supposed to do those numbers. If you got a Honda, an old Honda 92 Honda, and it's pulling the same 400, 500 horses, that's saying something. You did something. All you did was buy it and turn the key."
It's true. It's true. But however, though, we can't even, you know what's crazy? We can't even say that because, to be honest with you, the 700 horsepower in the Hellcat now makes it keep up because it's so heavy.
Right.
So it's very right. How much they weigh? 4,500.
Yeah.
That's a lot. When you're looking at BMW, that probably weigh 3,800, 3,900. You know, or even 4,000. And it's like when you really look at those numbers like that, it's like the Hellcat got to make more power just to keep up. Now, when you're talking about 1,000 horsepower, a stripped interior, big tire in the rear, now we talking. You're talking Mickey Thompson's in the back.
Mickey.
You got to be scared of him now. Now you're like, oh boy, he got a little bit of digits.
Beadlock. I told you, your boy is up the block with me with beadlocks on his thing.
The GTR.
The GTR.
Well, Will is serious. He had that car for a little while. He's serious.
I saw it from the Prelude. I was like, Eesh.
Yeah, Will is a serious individual. When it comes down to the cars, he do what he got to do. I will say this though. Yeah. Hopefully, we get a chance to get him in here and we can talk to him about. But Will is old school, and that's the thing too about doing a show like this or interviewing. See, nobody gives up the secrets, and I'm not mad at that. That's old school. Old school is it's stock.
Yep. I don't know what you're talking about. Those are regular rims.
Dude, listen, I don't know. This is stock. I don't have anything on it. There's no work to it. This is what it is. So it's very interesting. We just got to watch and see how that plays out. But so what are you looking forward to in 2025?
Now, this is in general.
Okay.
I'm tired of all the softness this state, this country is going through. Everybody is tender. Look, this morning, somebody else just got set on fire.
Yeah.
At Penn Station.
Yeah.
We're going to have to bring back Charles Bronson. It may not be politically correct, but everybody out here thinking it's sweet with no repercussions.
Yeah, and then when you serve repercussion, it's like you the criminal.
There you go. Could you imagine? You trying to do good and you get hemmed up? I want everybody to have a backbone again, to care about your neighbor. Don't, you know what I'm saying? When we were small and the little kids would get pushed around by a big kid, the bigger kid come here, hey, what you doing? Fight me.
That's true. Stood up.
We lost that. We lost that. Everybody in their feelings, and that just opened a vacuum for people to do wildness. I guarantee you right now, if the Decepticons and the Hammercons were still around on the A train, half of this stuff wouldn't be going on.
See, Now with that, just to veer off the topic of autos for a minute, with that's a lot. Like, me and my homeboy was having that conversation. Like, the mafia was who they was in their neighborhoods,
right?
But they also police their neighborhoods. So it's like, it's like a twofold thing. You get rid of them, now there's no policing in the neighborhood as well. And remember, that's really how gangs came about. Gangs came about to police the neighborhoods. It's just that it turned into something else along the way, because it was really about protection. It really
Same
was
way
about
the G-Steps came about. They got tired of getting bullied, right? And they got together and say, "Yo, let's look out."
And we talking before, not just in black on black communities, like where black people was moving to a community that was considered white at the time, or just it wasn't, and they felt that they had to defend themselves. And we talking going all the way back to the 40s, 50s.
There you go.
This is where that really started. So who knows at what point did it turn from that to what it is now? But at the end of the day, it was all about protection. It's like we forgot about that. Like now the biggest thing is, I got problems with the dude around the corner, and around the corner is another gang. Like, no, it wasn't like that. It was just at one point we all band together.
We all grew up together from the same neighborhood, and there was code, there was ethics. Don't mess with so and so's mom. She's a good mom,
right?
Even your op.
Yeah,
I'm not gonna bang on your mom. That's your mom.
Right.
There's no honor among thieves anymore, so to speak.
Right. She's a what how they say it? She's a civilian. So it's like, so definitely right. Make America aggressive again is what you said.
Yeah. Stop being soft.
Stop being soft. So what's the one thing you don't want to see in 2025? Now that we going into
I don't want to see, I guess, the division. And it ties into the softness too. Everybody, I guess, politically is picking sides, but you're not picking sides for the policy or the value. You're picking sides for your emotion.
Ooh.
And the problem with that is, if your side is in the wrong, now you connect it to your emotion. You connect it to your core. So there'll be certain stuff you won't want to believe because you're thinking a slight on your side is a slight on you.
Yeah.
Gotta leave that alone. I don't care if you're black, white, polka dot. As long as you're doing good for me and mine and my country, I'm with it. If you're not, I'm gonna bang on you. And people don't do that.
I hear that. Shout out to my guy Draco, man. I wasn't expecting that. My man Draco came through, tried to shock the world. You know what I'm saying? He didn't even talk about he said, look, forget all the cars. This is what I want to see. And I get it. I feel like that also does play into the car community as well. Yeah. A lot of guys being in their emotions about their brand or like I said, at the end of the day, I'm a Honda guy. Yes, I have Hondas.
I'm guilty of it too.
You know what I'm saying?
I'm guilty.
But we got to start to look at like things as like, it's not just us against us, it's us versus them now, because the way that they try to play it is that these electric cars are just as good, if not better than what we have. And I beg to differ.
Yeah. You was talking about weight. Weight alone. What tow truck is gonna pull a Tesla? A Cybertruck.
Come on. As a matter of fact, forget everything you know about cars, because once a Tesla is off, you can't just wheel it.
Exactly.
It's stuck. Now it's stuck and you gotta pull it, and you hear the wheels squealing as you dragging it.
Yep.
We gotta start to look at these things. Shout to my guy Draco, man. Jessica Grady said we got to look at the facts from both sides. Let's go, Draco.
There you go.
My God, Draco. With that being said, Draco, I want to say I appreciate you for tuning in, man. Appreciate you for always rocking with us. Since almost Jump Street, I see your name show up every Saturday.
No problem.
And we got things coming up. January 20th, we going to the go-karts. If you can't make this one, that's fine. We got more going on for the year. Builds going on for the year, drives going on for the year, and we also got a lot of different things that we're going to take on as Rally Radio and Gutter Ball Rally. But first and foremost, like I said, everybody who rocked with us from beginning to now, I myself, Rally Radio, appreciate y'all. I really do. Y'all hold my feet to the fire. Every now and again, I get a CRX post. I know what you're saying, and it's going to be here. 2025 is going to be very different. But I will say,
wait. Before you cut,
yes,
you did see Casey, the YouTuber Casey, doing the V8 CRX, right?
Did I?
Okay.
You know what it just says to me though? I won't go that far. I don't have.
It is kind of wild.
It is wild. That's wild.
But it's out of his comfort zone. That's what I'm really interested in about it. He's usually just LS, old school American muscle. This is his first dip into imports.
Yes. Shout to Tisha. Let's go. Shout to Tisha. She's tuned in. What's going on? Draco, I will say this. Like I said, man, I appreciate all of y'all. Like I said, and not for nothing, it works. It does. Like at the end of the day, I'll be like, damn, like, just wait till I come on with this car. So I appreciate y'all, really do, man. Continue tuning in with us. We're gonna have a lot of different things, and you already know we're gonna have a lot of different drives and runs coming up too. And not only in the warm weather, we're gonna get out in the turbo weather too. For guys like you that got them 2Js on big boost. Yo, with that being said, man, I appreciate you. Don't forget to tune in. We're gonna keep it moving. Yo, happy New Year to you and your family, and stay safe.
Merry Christmas, Happy New Year's, and all that, y'all.
All right, Draco.
All right.
Peace. Shout out to my guy Draco, man. With that being said, shout out to everybody who's there paying attention. You already know what it is, man. We appreciate all of y'all and everybody for tuning in. With that being said, we're going to move right on to our next little segment that we got going on here. You already know what it is.
It's Tech Talk with Pop the Bearded One and S.I. Shaw.
You already know what it is, man. We appreciate everybody in the building. Uh-oh, we got another call. Rally Radio, who we got in the box?
Miller Time NYC, what's going on?
NYC. Give it up for my guy Miller Time NYC one time. You already know what it is, Miller. What's poppin'?
This was this year. This year was a
doozy,
a very interesting year to say the least.
Let's go.
To say the least. But I will tell you, one of my highlights of the year was the meet and greet that I was a part of this early in the year. That was fun.
Shout to my guy Miller Time taking the pickup on the twisties.
The question, and remember the question of the day? Yo, whose truck is that?
Shout to my guy Miller Time. Yo, so for those that don't know, obviously, like I said, Rally Radio, we do driving events. So we want to make sure that we put them out to everybody. If you're not a member of the group, make sure that you join the group. The group is Gutterball Rally, the community. You can find us on Facebook, obviously. I'm going to put it right here. Gutterball Rally, the community Facebook group. That's our group. Miller's part of the group. We put out that we was going to have a drive. We all get out. We meet up. We all hand out radios because we like to be in connection with one another so we can talk to one another. We put out the radios, and I will say this, Miller showed up with the pickup, and I'm saying to myself, I'm like, yo, it's going to be a little bit of a push. You know what I'm saying? Yo, Miller got up there, hit the twisties with us to the point where there was a Nissan 370Z at a rest point at the place we went, and he said, yo, I'm getting ready to go around the twisties, and I see a F-150 pickup. He's like, who's wheeling that? I'm like, yeah, the crazy guy over there. That one. That guy. He said he was more than impressed. Because he's like, yo, you just don't see that. And I said, but at the end of the day, Miller's a driver. Like, see, that's what I'm saying. Like, it's impossible for those that don't drive. But if you really want to get out and enjoy your car, it's what it is. Car, truck. What do you enjoy driving? That's what Rally Radio is all about. So shout to my guy Miller. That was actually one of my greater memories too. Seeing you come out there. I said Miller ain't playing.
And you know the highlight on top of that highlight, that little S feature that I have on there. Say what? That was the secret to my success to keep up with y'all young bucks out there.
The S feature?
If I didn't have that, I'd have been the sports feature on my vehicle, yo.
Oh,
I tell you, yo, that V8, it was just laid back until I pressed that, and it was like, oh, is that what you want? Let's go.
Wow. So if that's the
You know,
case, Miller.
I stepped on that gas. That V8 went V10, V12 on me.
So if that's the case, Miller, now that was your best memory from 2024, what's one thing you want to see left behind in 2024? It could be automotive or whatever you feel.
The elimination of V8s. We need to bring some of those back. I mean, don't get me wrong. I am still a baby in the stages of being a car enthusiast. But I hate to hear everybody talk about the inline V6 or the turbo V6 because if the V8 can do it naturally, why put more stress on the V6? Now, I may be wrong. That's just my opinion. Like I said, I'm still learning the stages of driving and power.
Yes.
Because when I bought my truck, I tell people, I don't buy it for gas.
Yes.
I buy it for precision power. So where I need to get into those spots where I can get in and out.
Yes.
I can tap my accelerator and I can go. That's what I need it for. I don't need it to prove a point because I already know the point that it makes because it's Ford, number one, and it has a V8, number two, and that's what I asked for. So that I know, and that's what I'm talking about. So I would like to leave behind the fact that we're eliminating V8s. We need to bring some of them back.
That actually, let's go Miller time, NYC. Let's go. So with that being said, that was actually good. Okay, you know we forgot to play the intro of the game plan.
Shifting gears. We ask, you answer. The faster, the better. Gear up. Only on Rally Radio.
All right. So now you've answered the 2024. What do you look forward to in 2025?
More road trips.
Woo! Miller's on a roll. He's on a roll.
Dude, I'm gonna tell you why. I had a small experience in September.
Yes.
And I made up for it in December. And by making it up for it in December was like, this was great. It was right around my birthday, but it was right before Christmas. So being that everybody was traveling around Christmas time, and people start traveling around, let's say December 20th, around 21st, and stuff like that. I didn't get caught up in all the traveling mayhem because I was already down in Florida. I'm traveling back up to go home, while everybody else is doing the exact opposite. I was actually fortunate enough because of my birthday being where it is, as to where Christmas time is, I was able to beat that out. So I was still able to enjoy my drive.
Ooh, so he said, looking forward to more road trips. Let's give Miller another round of applause for that, man. Because that's exactly what I'm talking about, man. Get outside. Don't wake up in the morning and look at the walls until it's time to clean up, and then you clean up and go back to bed. No, come outside. Get the cars out. How Rick Ross say, where your car at? So with that being said, Miller, one more question.
Yeah.
What don't you want to see in 2025? What's one thing you think we're going to see more of that you don't want to see in 2025?
People are going to be wrong and strong. Stop getting into your feelings. If the law is what the law is, there's only two ways to change it. You're either going to run for office or you're going to vote people out. You can't be wrong and strong and try to move ahead.
Let's go, Miller. You, 2J, or Jay, and Draco, I mean, y'all out here just, we got to, come on, one more time. Let's go. Let's go. We tired of this. So that's what you say. Like, you know what? Listen, instead of worrying about talking about the laws, either we're going to vote for the people or we're going to change the laws ourselves by being in office. But the one thing we can't do is be wrong and strong. I like
And
that.
you and I both know this because of the company that we work for.
Yes. Oh.
And at the end of the day, I was talking with a buddy of mine who was trying to run for the union office.
Yes.
And the problem with our union is we nit and pick who we vote for instead of voting for the slate. If you vote for the slate, you can get rid of the other slate.
Right.
But in my department, my department that I'm in, we vote for individuals. And when we vote for individuals, we're not getting everybody out.
Right.
We're only getting certain individuals out.
Right.
And at the end of the day, by getting individuals out and not the entire slate, you're still not making the biggest move.
No.
So if you vote for the entire slate, you have a better chance of getting the other slate out, whether you like some of those people or not. I can still like you and still be cool, but not have to vote for you.
This is true.
If I lose your friendship, were you really worth being my friend in the first place? I don't know. That remains to be seen. But at the end of the day, your feelings are going to get involved, and if your feelings get involved, it's not going to change how the world is going to be.
Shout to Jessica Grandy. She said, you can't beat the house if you vote the individual. Damn.
Amen. Hallelujah.
That's exactly what he's saying. You can't win. And now you put them in. They done been talking crap about each other, and now they in the office with each other at the same time.
Meanwhile, transit. You know that meme where you have the guy come up, pop the chair out, and eat popcorn. That's what transit is doing with the local 100. They are like, we ain't got to do nothing. Let them sort it out because all we're going to do is continue to do what we're doing. And one of my friends told me, he says, the reason why things won't change is because they can't change the rules because the laws haven't changed. But if you change the laws, the company has to change the rules to adapt to those laws. But until that happens, it will not work out.
It's a fact. It's a fact. You're not lying, Miller. They have no choice. But as long as they see dissension, they're good.
Right. Absolutely. Absolutely.
They're like, we don't care. They'll figure it out. And if not, then we'll get it together. It is what it is, man. Shout to my God, Millertown, NYC. I will say this, though, Miller. Seeing a lot of those things, and we see it a lot in the automotive community as well, or the community and the automotive world in general. You start to see people who they haven't figured out that if they work together, together you strong. Right. Look at Nissan, Honda, and Mitsubishi. The reason that made so much news is because they are coming together. That is the scary part of everybody. Not scary for us, but I mean like as far as business. They understand that they need to be together in order to get this done.
And that is a crazy three-headed monster. Could you imagine? Remember how you talk about those guys in the basement?
Yeah.
Oh, we got more. That basement is starting to get bigger. And I'm gonna tell you. Could you imagine? I'm gonna say this to you one more time. V8. Throw that in the basement. Throw that in the mix.
I'm telling you.
Can you imagine what they will put together?
So you want to laugh? Honda has made a V8 before, but they haven't made. I'm trying to think if they ever made one in production. No, I don't think so. But Nissan has, and Mitsubishi is the Titan, the Nissan Titan.
Right? Yes, the Titan. Yes. They just talk about eliminating that.
Who knows? Listen, Miller. Look. We just bring the news. We just bring the news. But it can happen. And I mean, you're talking about, like I said, the thing about Japan is that the car culture is woven into the tradition of the country. They've been driving cars competitively for a long time. They even created their own racing league, the JGTC, Japan Grand Touring Championship. This is what I'm saying. It's like it's in them. That's why they didn't convert so easy from electric. And I don't think that they are. The reason China's doing it is because at the end of the day, China just wants the money.
Right.
So it's like it's just going to be very interesting. I just think that we could learn a thing or two from seeing that. Honda didn't just let Nissan die out and buy them out. No, they said we're gonna help each other.
They got something. Honda's got something in the works. I can't put my finger on it, but they got something in the works. Don't be surprised if something is brewing down there. That basement is brewing, bruh. It's a serious cup of coffee about to come out. I'm just saying.
They down there with the tires around their heads like this. Yo, what do you think it would be if we put an RB in a Civic? Oh my goodness, we put a Nissan in a Civic. We ain't gonna get into it. Yo, Miller Tom NYC, I appreciate you. Already know what it is, man.
Oh,
thank you for tuning in.
And one more thing for you. One more thing.
Go ahead.
You've been avoiding me, sir. I've been sending you texts about let me know if you need some assistance. You see that mic next to you? It looks like he's calling for somebody.
Over here?
Don't be afraid. Don't be afraid to give me a shout out, man. Just give me 24 hours. Give me 24 hours. You know I can get there. If you need that backup, you let me know.
I will. I will do. I will have a listener appreciation show that I'm trying to put together. So I got a couple of people on the panel, you included, Jay included, Phil included. We got some people we won't bring up here because I want y'all to meet these people too. I want y'all to understand these are the guys that when we hit the road with, these are the guys that we go out with, and it's actually a lot of fun. But you already know what it is, Miller. We appreciate you for tuning in, for rocking with us, and actually taking road trips with us so you can see when we get out on the road, it's serious. We get out there, we have a lot of fun. Shout to Marlon, the resident Toyota guy. He already know what it is. We get out there and we drive these cars, and nothing's going to change in 2025. It's going to get better because we have a lot of different things that I'm setting up, and we're going to really take advantage and get out there and really have some fun. Just don't be afraid of the camera because we're going to have the camera out there too, documenting and making sure everybody see what we do here at Rally Radio. Yo, Miller, I appreciate you. Like I said, man, I really do, man. Like you really tune in. We see you all the time. You always dropping comments in the community posts, everything, man. I appreciate you greatly, man. You know what I mean? It's people, like I said, like how you say, like supporting and moving with each other. You do that, man. So thank you from the bottom of my heart. I appreciate you.
I appreciate you allowing me to step into your building, and you accepted me as the baby brother, the older baby brother.
I'm about to say,
and
the little big brother.
And even though S.I. Sean had to step away, I'm not forgetting about him because every now and then you need that other guy that's going to press your button and tell you when you're wrong when you think you're not.
He's good for that. He is definitely good for that. He is definitely good for that. He'd definitely be like, nah, you wrong. I'd be like, yo, you don't know what you. We be in here arguing, but it is what it is. He has other things he has to do, and when he's finished with it, maybe he'll come back. I'm not sure where he is in that, and we'll talk about it. But he definitely gonna make his way back if he's ready. But I will say this though, right. As far as Rally Radio is concerned, it's just good to see that there's people that's like-minded and actually tune in and actually thinking the same things. Like we all say, even though y'all giving some good things that y'all looking forward to and things y'all want to leave in the past, we all in the same. We all in the same boat at the end of the day. So I appreciate you, Miller. I really do, man. Thank you. You already know what it is. We got a little bit more show left. We're going to finish off strong. Appreciate you for calling in. You know what it is. Happy New Year to you, and be careful out there. You know what it is.
Likewise to you and yours and the automotive family. I am glad, and it's a blessing to be here. Happy New Year. Enjoy yours and do what you got to do out there. Continue to teach. Continue to have me laughing out here in these streets.
Copy that.
All right, be safe. Peace out.
Peace. That's Miller Time NYC. You already know what it is, man. We appreciate everybody who tunes in, who rocks with us. And you know what? Like I said, we're going to do the 2024 recap. We talked about a lot of different things that started on in the beginning of the year. And then we could talk about some of the other things that was a little bit more sadder, a little bit more sad. We the worst thing that I think in 2024, we lost a a couple people. And, one thing about this automotive thing is that it brings you together with people that you learn who they are. And it's like the same thing when rest in peace Paul Walker passed away about 10 years ago now. You didn't know him, but you knew him. And it was one loss that we had this year in 2024 to me that was like, it was a shock when I heard it, and it's still a little bit of a shock because it just goes to show like how everything you could be doing could be stopped in an instant. And that's one stock F30. Let's give him, his flowers too. We talk about these Beamers, and as a matter of fact, one of the things that we had noted was that they was using American transmissions for some of these Beamers that they was building, man. And I mean, they built some monsters, but shout to one stock F30. Losing him this year was really tough on the car community, I believe, in general, because you start to really it gave us that, okay, don't forget this could get dangerous. Don't get me wrong, we all like to have fun, but it can get dangerous, and you got to prepare yourself for that. So shout to Marlon, resident Toyota guy, said B58 King. That definitely was a tough time for a lot of automotive heads. You know what I mean? Just to see that was not cool. It did. That sucked. And we hope to never have to deal with that again. But at the same time, we definitely got to give props where props is due. Because I'm going to be honest with you, he started this Beamer run where, the BMWs are actually fast. He did. He started it. No lie. I didn't even think you would see an M3, those are the cars that we expect to be fast, but not when he started with that 340. So shout to him, man. Rest in peace to him. And with that being said, we're going to jump right into our driver's etiquette. This is our favorite driver's etiquette from 2024. Like I said, we always going to bring those up. That's what we like. So here we go.
Driver's etiquette. Go. Because sometimes you got to get this off your chest.
All right. Now, my favorite driver's etiquette that we had this year had to be, if you could take your car to anywhere in the world to rally, where would it be? And I always have this recollection towards the end of all the years. Like, did I really get out and really do what I set out to do in 2024? I have a lot of things that I wanted to do. And one of them really was to bring the Type R back to the Dragon's Tail. We tried to do that twice this year. There was 2 times we was on our way down there. And both times, one time it rained and one time it hurricaned. So it was just like out of the question. So we didn't get a chance to do that. But I will say that I definitely want to get out more. You know what I mean? And really drive. And like I said, the reason why this is one of my more favorite topics of 2024 with the driver's etiquette is because if I could take my car anywhere and rally, where would it be? And when I say rally, everybody's like, drive a car in the dirt, off ramps. No, what we do, we consider rallying as well. Sometimes driving your car long distances and really, making sure it's working, it's running. You have things to take care of yourself. Boom, boom, boom. You get through the nice road trip, nice adventure with good friends. To me, that is always a great road trip, a great rally. So I always said I wanted to rally from here all the way to LA. Shout to my guy Reeps in the building early. Shout to my guy Damien, a.k.a. Dangerous Damien. He hates when we call him. But I will say it's definitely one of those kind of things. Like, I want to drive the Angel's Crest from all the way down from the bottom of Southern California all the way to the top to Washington, to British Columbia, through Seattle. I always wanted to give the West Coast a good drive. So if I had to choose, that would be one of the greatest things I would say I want to get done. At least the Pikes Peak, one of those. There's a lot of different places I would love to go in my car. But that's why this was one of my more favorite conversations we had, is because a lot of places outside of the city are made for driving. They are. They made for driving, getting your car out there or motorcycle if that's what you do. But now if I had to fly it to another place, I would love to fly it to like either Japan and actually drive the Shibuya Highway. That would be tremendous. And I would also love to take it on the Nürburgring. These are dreams. These are things that I would love to do. I've seen these places in video games. I've seen them and I've never seen them in real life. And I would love to just take my car there, not rent a car and drive on it. No, my car, which makes a big difference. So shout to everybody who's tuned in, paying attention. You know how we get down, man. That was one of my more favorite driver's etiquette topics. Now, just to get into the wrap up of 2024, so many different things that we did see this year and so many things that we don't want to see next year. I think one of the things I've seen this year that I don't want to see anymore of, like I said, is takeovers. We got to stop that. The reason takeovers got to stop is because we are putting people at risk every time we try these things. It's like, and there's no point to it. It's like you're doing burnouts and sliding your car in the turn, and then they crashing them into each other, crashing them into people, leaving them on fire in the intersection. Like, I just don't understand the point. And then you get the idiots that go into the middle of this thing and actually want to take film and pictures and then end up getting hit by the cars, knocked upside down. And it's like, I'm trying to understand the point. And swimming, shout to Marlon, and swimming. And for those that don't know, swimming is when you see the cars dipping in and out of traffic, but they putting other people at risk when they're doing these things. It's like, once we start risking other people's lives, and everybody know that's where I draw the line. Once we start risking other people's lives, no, that's where you gotta cut it. Because if somebody gets hurt, you're not gonna be able to sleep with that. A whole family lose their whole family because of something you did. You won't be able to sleep with it. So those are the things that I want to see cut off in 2024. In 2025, I do want to see more togetherness in the car culture, automotive culture. You know, you're starting to see not really division. I feel like you see more people coming together, but it seems like it's either old school or new school. Either you drag race or you rally race or you road race or you parking lot pimp. Or it's like it's a lot of different things where, to be honest with you, ownership of the car is the most important part. You know what I mean? Keep the legends on the road. That's another thing I want to see happen. You know what I mean? I want to see all of these things happen. Shout to Tisha Adelaide. She said, facts. That's what I'm talking about. You know what I mean? It's like I want to see all of these things together. I want to see a lot more togetherness in the car culture. And that's what Rally Radio wants to bring. I don't want to be like, you know what? Oh, yeah, if you don't do anything with your car, we don't want to talk to you. No, because I'm very interested in everybody's story. Everybody, especially if you build a car, if it means something to you, there's a story behind it. So I definitely want to get into more of that, and we will here at Rally Radio. We got some other interviews coming up. I know everybody's shocked. We're gonna have some interviews coming up because there's some things that I want to hear from other people. We definitely going outside to a lot of different things. Don't forget, like, subscribe, and share. If you can, just drop a like, drop a comment, like I said always, so we can shout you out. Pass it off to your people. Let them know there's people out here talking about a lot of the automotive news too. Be bringing up a lot of automotive news. There's a lot of things going on the political side that we have no idea that's about to change how we actually deal with our autos. And that's another thing that we try to bring to the people. You know what I mean? So shout to everybody who rocks with us. Shout to everybody who is with us daily. Shout to Shy. He said what he wants to see for 20 is put down the CVT. I don't know. Dr. Phil said the CVTs ain't been bad in 10 years. I'm like, I don't know, fam. There's a lot of people that just don't like them. But I will say, get out on the road more, drive more, wrench more, and really enjoy what you're doing. Because not for nothing, Draco said something last year that really got me moving. And he said, you don't want to be 60 still trying to put together your car because you never took that time. And that really resonated with me. So he's right. You know what I mean? I really want to get this car on the road and I want to drive it and enjoy it. So that's another one of my goals for 2025. And I'm going to bring y'all with me. We're going to bring the cameras into the garage. You're going to see what we got going on in there. It's going to be interesting, to say the least. But I will say, like I said, I appreciate everybody. Marlon said Nissan. What do you mean by Nissan? You don't want to see any more Nissans? Oh, you talking about Nissan with the CVT. Their transmission is gone. Oh, yeah, that's bad. With that being said, once again, I appreciate everybody for tuning in. Shout to Reeps. He said last build 2025. Now, for those that don't know, I did go see Reeps, so I do know what Reeps is capable of. So I can't wait to see what he's building, because I know he got some things in the works. It's gonna be very interesting. Shout to my guy. We ain't gonna call him that. He hates when we call him that. But Dangerous Damien. I said it. I couldn't help it. But with that being said, shout to everybody who's paying attention. With that being said, we're going to move on to our Legends of Auto. And this was one of my more favorite Legends of Auto, because we actually, like, this one is really like resonated with me. And when you think about it, it resonates with everybody. And that is going, and we're going to get into it. Let's go. Y'all ready? Let's jump right in.
Legends of Auto. Real legends never die.
With that being said, the Legend of Auto for the year, and it just came last week, Naoko Nishimoto, 80 years old, bought a manual Mazda RX-7. Drove it for 25 years and did whatever she wanted to do with it. Said it represented an opportunity for freedom for her to get around. She drove this car everywhere. She put a nice amount of miles on it for somebody that was 55 at the time when she bought it. And it looks like now she's handing over her license, and she wants to not get rid of the car. She just wants to get, she can't drive it anymore physically, she said. Before she said it's best to hand it over in her license before she had any regrets, meaning if anything happened. But she definitely looked at this Mazda RX-7. She called it her companion. It was something that she took around. She said that the RX-7 has been a partner and friend with whom I have shared my life. I hope many people will continue to love it. To me, that is exactly how most car guys feel about the cars they have. Yeah, a lot of people look at it as just a bunch of a bucket of metal and tires, and I just jump in and start the car and drive it if it don't move or anything like that. Yeah, I don't care. I get another one. That's not how a lot of us car guys feel. We feel how Miss Nishimoto feels about her Mazda RX-7. We love these cars. And at the end of the day, this is something that just goes to show it transcends whether you man, woman, young, old, black, white, Asian, African, European. It doesn't matter. And that's what I like about cars, is that we could be different on the outside, but on the inside, we all think the same way, man. So I love this Legend of Auto. We're going to make sure that we start putting these up so that people can see them. Naoko Nishimoto is our 2024 Legend of Auto for the year.
Legends of Auto. Real legends never die.
She was amazing in my book. That was amazing. I will say that I was more impressed with her than a lot of the other people that own these cars, because she was really in love with it. Really in love with it. And I think that's one of the greatest things. That's to me, one of the greatest stories I had ever heard as far as like cars in general, you know? So with that being said, man, you know how we get down. We talked here about our
the newest and freshest modifications, parts, and fashion. Only on Rally Radio.
So my most favorite tuner part for Hot Mars rather is going to be the 5.7 liter Hemi Diablo Sport tuner. That to me had to be one of the greatest inventions this year. Reason being is because you could use it to tune your Hemi, but also the fact that the dealer also sells something like this or this itself, and they can actually work with it and still be inside the range as far as emissions and everything is concerned. I will say that was one of the greatest inventions I've seen thus far this year. And to be totally honest with you, there is a lot of things that was going around with their emissions devices and what they allowing, but at the end of the day, it's just what it is. To me is one of the greatest inventions that I've seen this year, you know? So with that being said, you know how we get down here. That was our
the newest and freshest modifications, parts, and fashion. Only on Rally Radio.
And you already know our favorite part. Our favorite part is coming up. And are y'all ready for this? This is going to be our understeer for 2024. And with that being said, we're going to tell Dodge, you got to come on down.
It's the understeer.
What up?
Where we like to ask, what the hell were you thinking?
In one hand, we give Dodge they props. And in the other hand, we got to take it away. Dodge this year is going to get the understeer. And I'm sorry that we got to do it to Dodge like this, but it is what it is. The fact that y'all let Tim Kuniskis walk out when he quite possibly made brought Dodge back to relevancy from 2000 and I want to say 10 on, when he first brought out the SRTs and then he went into the Hellcats, 392s, the Ram TRX, Dodge Durango Hellcat. The man was out here creating magic, and they let the man walk away to be not really to be replaced, but when they bring in Carlos Tavares, somebody who was very arrogant about what he was doing, he didn't want to listen to how the American market works. So a lot of people left, and they left him up to his devices. And what did he do? First thing he did, he single-handedly gets rid of the V8. Then he tries to sell other cars. And what do? That was the worst thing that Dodge could have did. They actually tried to create an EV charger. Like we said, if they're going to call it anything, what would they call it? Charger. They actually made this EV charger, and now that it's hitting the market and you're seeing all of these YouTubers drive them, aka Demonology, shout to him, shout to Throttle House. You see a lot of them driving this car and they can't stand it. They said the electric Dodge Charger is probably one of the worst cars we've seen from Dodge in a while. And that's saying a lot because we haven't seen a Chrysler Sebring in how long? We haven't seen a 200C. There's been a lot of different cars that Chrysler came out with over the years that we thought was questionable, but this one has to be the worst one. The Dodge Charger EV, there's no room for it. It is not fast, and it actually has a fake exhaust speaker, which is nobody wants to see. And now that they've done this, they went to the inline turbo 6 that people are still waiting for, and there's a good chance now that they brought Tim Kuniskis back, they'll have the V8, and they will see for themselves. Listen, at the end of the day, you know your audience. You do not bring somebody from Europe in order to sell cars over here in this area. But I will say they've done it and they paid for it. But for 2024, Dodge.
It's the understeer.
What up?
Where we like to ask, what the hell were you thinking?
With that being said, we've reached the end of the show. Shout out to everybody who's tuned in, paying attention. Those who rocked with us, you already know what it is. Shout out to everybody who's tuned in. Shout out to my guy, Shy. He said NYC to Toronto was a wild trip, and we will be doing another one of those. And he said the first gutter ball rally to Tampa was a trip. That was the first hit of the addiction. That was crazy. We actually got a chance to eat Gator nuggets. Crazy. It was a crazy trip, to say the least. But with that being said, I want to send a shout out to everybody who rocked with us today. Shout out to Jessica Graham. Shout out to Tisha I always say her name wrong, but Tisha, you already know what it is. Shout out to Marlon, resident Toyota guy. Shout out to my guy Damien. You already know Dangerous Damien, aka Reeks. Shout out to Draco. Shout out to everybody who tuned in. Shout out to my guy Seneca. Shout out to Oh man, so many people. Shout to my guy Anthony Green, Shy, Mr. 2J. Shout to my guy Smitty, tuned in as usual. We appreciate you. You already know what it is. I appreciate everybody who tuned in, who rocked with us today, and who tuned in every year. Shout to my guy Zoom for Zoom. You already know what it is. Shout to Raheem Obi. Shout to him. Shout to everybody who rocked. Shout to my guy Tiny. Shout to my guy JOJ. Shout to Splash Bros Detailing. Don't forget to look them up when you get a chance. You already know what it is. Shout to Aaron Raw, tuned in early. We appreciate all of y'all. Shout to everybody who rocked with us today. Everybody who dropped a like. Shout to my guy Larry McBride. Shout to Angel, Monica Nazar, Dan Green, Berto, Ryan, Chris. We appreciate y'all. 2024 has been great. 2025 will be even better. Shout to everybody who rocked with us. Don't forget, you know where to find us. Drop a like, drop a comment. We can shout you out. Don't forget to like, subscribe, and share on YouTube at Rally Radio Podcast. And with that being said, we appreciate all of y'all for coming through and rocking with me today. With that being said, 2024 is finishing, and the next show that you see here is going to be 2025. So with that being said, until next year, I am out.
Drop the clutch, hit the gas. Rally Radio, where the fast life meets the fast lane.
Yeah.
You're now tuned into Bars and Hoops Radio. Where the world of hip hop and sports live.
Dropping the clutch and then I hit the gas. Wheels screeching, tires burning, I'm flying past. Gotta get home quick, don't wanna miss the class. They schooling you on whips and how to make them fast. Talking about everything from cars to planes. What's hot, what's next, and how to flip the game. They talk in my language, we speak the same. That whip talk complex, but yet they keep it plain. From the news, the interviews, they keep it cool. They give reviews, everything from parts to tunes. Can't lose, come to whips, they not no fools. Don't miss the show, the start time is noon. The bearded one, S.I. Sean, they crazy though. You can't miss it, tune in to Rally Radio.
Where the fast life meets the fast lane.